billionaire John Caudwell, who has previously supported and donated to the Tories, has come out in support of Keir Starmer's Labour. The billionaire founder of Phones For You, who donated £500,000 to the Tory party in 2019, has switched his support to Labour in a fresh blow to Rishi Sunak's stuttering election campaign. John Caudwell has said he will be voting for Labour, citing his amazement at Sir Keir Starmer's transformation of the party. Mr Caudwell was one of the biggest donors to the Tories ahead of the 2019 general election, when he gave £500,000 to Boris Johnson's campaign. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer said he was delighted that Mr Caudwell had thrown his support behind the changed Labour Party. He said the message is clear. Business backs change and economic stability with Labour and rejects 5 more years of chaos and decline with the Tories. John was not just a Conservative voter, but a substantial donor to the Conservative Party in 2019. So it's not a decision that he will have taken lightly, but it's clear that he shares my plan for growth that I set out in the Labour manifesto. I'm campaigning non-stop between now and the 4th of July to win the votes of other people who have backed the Tories in the past, but see change with Labour as the best future for Britain. We also have a clip of Caudwell on TV explaining his reasons for switching to Labour.
What Keir has done, as far as I can see, has taken all the left out of the Labour Party, and he's come out with a brilliant set of values and principles and ways of growing Britain in complete alignment with my views as a commercial capitalist.
So John there explains that his politics and views haven't changed whatsoever, but rather the Labour Party under Keir Starmer has abandoned Labour in favour of capital. Now, he's not the first Tory donor to switch allegiances, citing that Labour is now friendly of big business either. Now, Starmer may well say, well, it wasn't a light decision. Well, I think it was an incredibly easy decision. He saw an opportunity with Labour to lobby for his own interests, and don't just take my word for it. Here he is on Talk Radio explaining just that.
A lot of measures that they've already got in the manifesto that they're already looking to implement: deregulation, cutting public spending, improving the planning laws, making us self-sufficient in energy. There's a whole huge raft. Way too much to go into detail here, but I don't know how successful they'll be implementing, because one thing saying you're going to do something, it's another thing doing it. At least if you say you're doing the things that are the right things, that is a supportable argument, and then what we have to do is make darn sure that we do it. And I'm hoping that I can have some degree of influence in the Labour Party to put them on certain correct pathways if I believe they're not on the correct commercial pathway.
The Labour Party, well and truly has changed. It is now the party of the rich elites. Now, it also turns out Caudwell is also a bit of a pillock. Are you back to work today? My helicopter is an amazing time saver for commuting between my home in London, where most of my business is, to my country house in Staffordshire. Likes to make the start of my commute in an event for kids. #back to work. I mean, is he trying to be a villain here? Now, he also said this. Phones For You tycoon John Caudwell says he would leave the country if Jeremy Corbyn becomes Prime Minister to avoid being raped with higher taxes. The billionaire told luxury lifestyle magazine Spear he was not scared of paying his fair share of tax, but he said a Corbyn government will be to step too far. If Corbyn wanted to start taxing more extensively than already, my appetite or tolerance to pay much more than I'm already paying is not very big, he said. He added, we'd just go and live in the south of France or Monaco. Why would we stay and be raped? Nice. Caudwell comparing rape to paying a little bit more taxes, which, by the way, Corbyn's tax policy wasn't high enough. Income and corporation taxes were only set to be raised back up to the levels of 2010. Now, Labour's aim under Starmer, and more specifically Rachel Reeves, has deliberately been about sidelining workers, the people they're supposed to represent, in favour of the 1%. Now, this is the entire philosophy of Reeves, and she doesn't even care about hiding it so much. She said this. Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves has told business leaders their fingerprints are all over the Labour manifesto. The top Labour politician told attendees of the meeting in the City of London on Monday morning, which included the heads of both Lloyds Banking Group and Santander UK, that they had influenced the party's policy offering on the economy. She said, "I really hope that when you read it, or if you read the section on the economy, that you will see your fingerprints all over it, because the ideas that we set out in the manifesto on how to grow the economy are based on so many of the conversations I've had with businesses and investors over the last 3 years." Callum, Labour for the 1%, it's clear as day. I mean, pretty astonishing how much boot they want to lick, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah. I think the whole political landscape has changed. If you think back to what I was saying earlier about the Boris Johnson sort of scenario, we've got a situation where we've got people with lots of money, lots and lots of money, too much money, some might say, jumping ship from supporting very publicly and very openly the Conservative Party to saying, right, actually, we now support Labour. And their excuse for doing so, like in John Caldwell said, what he said is that Labour have moved into more sensible grounds. They've changed into a way that these businesses can now get behind. And you do have to wonder, what do Labour stand for now if they are essentially the same party that Boris Johnson had, or that David Cameron had? I struggle to understand how you can go from being a financial backer of Boris Johnson to suddenly thinking that the Labour manifesto is great if it's not offering the same thing. To play devil's advocate, though, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this, actually, Curtis. If you're a big business at this point in the calendar year, or if you're an owner or a CEO of a big business, and realistically the next government's going to be a Labour government, you're going to want to keep them on side. We already know about lobbying and the way that big businesses sort of go after government to do things. And could it be, rather than it being a case of a political alignment, could it be more of a bribery, whereby actually we'll donate all this money to your campaign because we know you're going to be the next government, so we'll give you this money to help you get there, but look after us when you do?
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, what you're alluding to here is true, because money in politics is, for one thing, it's return on investment, right? People don't usually give money out of the goodness of their hearts, especially if you're a capitalist. There's a reason why our political system is flooded with money. I mean, it's a bigger issue in the US. I mean, essentially the entire country, the entire political system is run on money. It's because big bosses, or big business and bosses, want to get policies in their favour. And we saw that clip of Caldwell saying, quite literally, well, I want influence on the party. Yeah. And for us lot, we give to political parties, I mean, obviously far smaller donations, because we want politicians to be held to account to our standards. We want, I don't know, better healthcare, better public services. We want cleaner air. We want to end poverty. So we'll give to a political party where we think, do you know what? This party is going to address that. It's the exact same for capitalists. It's the exact same for the wealthy. They're giving money to political parties, one, because there is a political realignment under the Labour Party. It's a capital party now. And secondly, it's influence. I think Keir Starmer is absolutely open to influence. And it's not just, look at me, I'm the sensible grown-up who's changed the party and our businesses want to get on board. It's worse than that. He's actively courting businesses. I mean, policy has actually changed under the Labour Party. I mean, I believe it was Liz Kendall. That's it. Liz Kendall went on TV and said, we had a tax policy, which is essentially increased corporation tax. Then we spoke to business and then we changed our taxes. I mean, I can't believe she even said it. She said the quiet part out loud, which is businesses changing our policy to benefit them instead of Labour, workers, ordinary people.
Yeah, and I think something that upsets me with this is that they are very quick to appeal to business, and I understand that to a degree. From an economic point of view, you need to have the businesses on side. You want big businesses to be able to feel fairly confident with the government. But on the flip side of that, they're ignoring working people. I mean, take the 2-child benefit cap, for instance, that nearly every other party, including reform have said that they're going to get rid of, Labour are still adamant they're not going to scrap it. They're going to leave it. They can't afford to do that. They can't afford to do that. So they're really quick and happy and eager to keep big businesses on side. But if you're a parent with 3 children, sorry, we can't help you out with that extra child. You're just going to have to deal with it. The businesses will be all right though, and it makes me really angry. And like I say, I get it from a political point of view, but for real people, this isn't helpful. This doesn't work. And even if the economy, gets better, and that happens through growth, through businesses and so on, when we've still got people that are suffering, you know, is it going to trickle down? I don't know.
And when politicians say about difficult choices, it's only one way, isn't it? It's never difficult choices for big business. It's not like, oh, do you know what? We have to raise taxes on the wealthy because we need to fix the economy that the Tories have broken. I mean, I think it was Rachel Reeves again saying there's a big black hole of funding. Well, fund it then with taxes. Don't fund it with, not wanting to scrap the 2-child benefit cap. So when politicians say we're making tough choices, it always means on you. Now, go ahead. Yeah. Sure.
No, I was just going to say, but when it does seem, doesn't it, in this scenario that Labour is now the party, like you say, of the 1%. It's the party for the gentleman with their helicopters in their back garden, rather than for the family with 3 children, and it's a dire reflection of the state of affairs that we've gotten into as a country off the back of 14 years of Conservative government, that the only way that Labour have been able to secure an election win, assuming that they do, which I think they will, through being more like the Tories, it's just a real shame.
Everything here at Turn Left is still voluntary and work around our paid jobs. The goal is to have enough income to rent a studio and one day to start paying ourselves. Now, you can help us get there by supporting Turn Left on Patreon for £3 or £5 per month at patreon.com/Turn Left Media. Now, the channel has grown significantly with exclusive interviews, including Jeremy Corbyn and political party leaders. I want to see Turn Left continue to grow as an independent socialist media. Please give this video a like and share it widely. I'd also like to thank existing subscribers, members, and patrons. Thank you, and see you next time.